17 shots for 3 years, he's mine, wonder when she'll
3,000 ducats. Well,
Aye, sir, for 3 months.
for 3 months. Well,
For the which, as I told you, Antonio shall be bound.
Antonio shall be bound. Well,
Now you said me, will you pleasure me? Shall I know your answer?
3,000 ducats for 3 months, and Antonio bounds.
And your answer to that?
Antonio is a good man.
Have you heard any imputation to the contrary?
No. My meaning in saying he's a good man is to have you understand that he is sufficient. Yet his means are in supposition. He hath an agressor bound to Tripoli, another to the Indies, and I understand, moreover, upon hath squandered abroad. But ships are but voids, sailors but men. There be land rats and water rats, water thieves and land thieves, and pirates. And then there are the perils of the water, winds and rocks. The man is, notwithstanding, sufficient. 3,000 ducats, I think I may take his bond.
Be assured you may. This is Signor Antonio.
How like a fawning publican he looks. I hate him for he's a Christian, but more than that low simplicity, he lends out money giants and brings down the rate of usance here with us in Venice. If I can catch him once upon the hip, I will feed the fat ancient grudge I bear him. He hates our sacred nation, and he rails. Even there where merchants will do most congregate, on me my bargains, my well-worn thrift, which he calls interest, curse my tribe if I forgive him.
Shylock, do you hear?
I am debating of my present store, and by the near guess of my memory, I cannot instantly raise up the gross of a full 3,000 ducats. What of that? Trubel, a wealthy Hebrew of my tribe, will furnish me. But soft, how many months do you desire? Rest you fair, good Signor. Your worship was the last man in our months.
Sherlock, albeit I neither lend nor borrow, by taking nor or by giving excess. Yet to supply the ripe wants of my friend, I'll break a custom. Is he yet possessed? How much you would?
Aye, 3,000 ducats.
And for 3 months.
I had forgot. 3 months, so you told me so. Well then, your bond, and let me see. But here you methought you said you neither lend nor borrow, upon advantage.
I do never use it.
When Jacob's grots his uncle's Laban's sheep, this Jacob from our holy Abraham was at his wise mother brought in his behalf. The third possessor, aye, he was the third.
And what of him? Did he take interest?
No. Do not take interest. Not, as you would say, directly interest, mark what Jacob did. When Laban and himself were compromised, that all the earnings which were staked and pied should fall as Jacob's hire. The ewe bearing rank and in the end of autumn turned to rams. And when the work of generation was between those woolly breeders in the act, the skillful shepherd's hill piled me in certain wands. And in doing the deed of the kind, he stuck them up with fulsome ewes, who then conceived them in earning time, fall party-colored lambs, as were Jacob's. And this was the rate of thrive, and he was blessed. And thrift with this blessing if men steal it not.
This was a venture, sir, that Jacob served for a thing not in his power to bring to pass, but swayed and fashioned by the hand of heaven. Was this inserted to make interest good, or is your gold and silver ewes and rams?
I cannot tell. I make it breed as fast. But note me, Signor.
Mark you this, Bastiano. The devil can cite scripture for his purpose. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek, a goodly apple rotten at the heart. Oh, what a goodly outside falsehood. Ha!
3,000 ducats is a good round sum. 3 months from 12, then let me see the rate.
Well, Shylock, shall we be holding to you?
Signor Antonio, Many a time, and often the while so, you have rated me about my monies and my usances. Still have I borne it with a patient shrug. You call me misbeliever, cutthroat dog, and spet upon my Jewish godrance, and for all for use of that which is mine own. You call me a dog, and for these courtesies I lend you this much monies.
I am as like to call thee so again. To spit on thee and spurn thee too. If thou wilt lend this money, lend it not. It's thy friends, for when did friendship make thy breed of forbearing metal of his friend. But lend it rather to thine enemy, who if he breaks thou mayest with a better face. Exact the penalty.
Why, look how you storm! I would be friends with you, and have your love, but forget the shames that you would have stained with me. Supply your present wants, and take no doit of usance for my monies, and you'll not hear me. This is the kind I offered.
This were kindness.
This kindness I will show. Go with me in authority, steal me there. Your single bond, and in a merry spot, if you would pay me not on such a date, in such a place, such sums as are expressed in the condition, that the forfeit be nominated for an equal pound of your fair flesh, to be cut off and taken in what part of your body pleaseth me.
Content and faith, I'll seal such a bond, and say there is much kindness in the Jew.
You shall not seal such a bond for me. I'll rather dwell in my necessity.
I fear not, man, I will not forfeit it. Within these 2 months, that's a month before this bond expires, I do expect return of thrice times the value of this bond.
Is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. Oh me, the word choose. I may neither choose who I would nor refuse who I dislike. So is the will of a living daughter curbed by the will of a dead father? Is it not hard, Nerissa, that I cannot choose one nor refuse none?
Your father was ever virtuous, and holy men at their death have good inspirations. Therefore, the lottery that he hath devised in these 3 chests of gold, silver, and lead, whereof whoever chooses his meaning chooses you, will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly, but one who you shall rightly love. But what warmth is there in your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come?
Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadow livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbor and near bred. Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebeus' fire scares stars with icicle. And let us make incision for you to prove whose blood is the reddest, his or mine. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine, not feared the valiant, but my love I swear the best virgins of our clan have loved it pure. I would not change this year except to steer your thoughts, my gentle queen.
In terms of choice, I am not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eyes. Besides, the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing. But if my father had not scanted me and hedged me by his wit to yield myself, his wife who wins me by that means, I told you, yourself, renowned prince, then stood as fair as any corner I have looked on yet for my affection.
Even for that I thank you. Therefore I pray you lead me to the castics to try my fortune. By this scimitar that slew Sophony and the Persian prince, that won 3 fields of the Sultan Solomon, I would outstare the sternest eyes that look, how brave the heart was daring on the earth. Pluck the young striking cubs from the she-bear. Yeah, mock the lion when he roars for prey. To win the lady, but last the while, if Hercules and Lysiax played dice, which is the better man? The greater throw may turn fortune from the weaker hands. So as Asclepius is beaten from his page, and so may I blind fortune lead me. This that which one unworthier may attain and die with bleeding.
You must take your chance and either not attempt to choose at all, or swear before you choose. If you choose wrong, never to speak to the lady afterward in the way of marriage. Therefore, be advised.
No, I will not. Come, bring me into my chance.
First, forward to the temple. After dinner, your hazard shall be made.
Good fortune then, to make me blessed or cursed among them. Oh, thou truth, and thy eyes shall be thy judge. The difference of old Charlotte and Basano. What, Jessica? Thou shalt not downsize as thou done with me. What, Jessica? And sleep, and snore, and rend the pale out? Why, Jessica, I say?
Why, Jessica?
Who bids thee call? I do not bid thee call.
Your worship was wont to tell me I could do nothing without bidding.
Call you? What is your will?
I am bid forth to supper, Jessica. They are my keys, but wherefore shall I go? I am not bid for love, they flatter me. But yet I'll go in hate, defeat upon the prodigal Christian. Jessica, my girl, look to my house. I am right loath to you. There is some ill of brewing towards my rest, for I did dream of money bags tonight.
I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your reproach.
So do I his.
And they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a-bleeding on Black Monday last, at 6 o'clock in the morning. Falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 years in the afternoon.
What? Are those my masters? Hear you me, Jessica. Lock up my doors, and when you hear the drum and vital scream of the lineman at fire, bring them not to your casement slum. No, first your heaven to public street, gaze upon Christian fields with garnished faces. But stop my house's ears, but at the sound of shallow property enter my servant house. But by Jacob's staff I swear I have no mind of ceasing forth tonight. But I will go. Go before me, Sarah. Say I will come.
I will go before. Mistress, look out your window for all this. There will come a Christian by, will be worth a Jew's eye.
What says that fool Haggard Softsman, huh?
His words were farewell, mistress, nothing else.
The patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder, snail slow and profit, and he sleeps by the day, more than a wildcat. Drones hide not with me, therefore I part with him, and part with him to one that I would have opened the waste. His borrowed purse, well, Jessica, willing. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you, shut the door back. Fast line, never stay like 50 miles.
Farewell, and if my fortune be not crossed, I have a father, you a daughter lost.
Wow.